Welcome to Crypto Pulse Weekly with Dr. Damien, your wealth creation opportunity in a time of crisis. As usual, we will be talking about arising matters in the world of crypto. We will go through our normal 4 point agenda, and then we will take questions and explanations from the audience. So as usual, we'll have our market review. We'll go through our crypto vital signs. We'll have our crypto drip, which is our knowledge transfer session. And then we'll talk about the Q&A and then close the session. Welcome to everyone joining on Instagram and everyone on Zoom. So let's get started. This week, we have very interesting news on market updates. And that's because our dearly beloved Bitcoin has successfully broken through the 12,000 mark, which we were considering a significant resistance just 1 week ago. It not only broke to 12,000, it broke to 12,000 and went straight for 13,000. And as at the time of compiling this, it was sitting around 12,700. A lot of things to unpack from this activity. But what I will just say is that it looks like we might have eventually, entered the next gear in the bull run, because 12,000 was what everybody was waiting for. That if 12,000 becomes a support, then we're sure that we're in the bull run. It's looking like it might actually be 12,007 or 12,005. That would be the support, that not even 12,000. And because of for obvious reasons, so many things happen in cryptocurrency world this week to warrant this price increase, as you will see in the subsequent slides. Because of that, I did make a post last week or during the week to say that we might not see Bitcoin at 10,000 for a very long time, except something very catastrophic happens. And I don't think, even if anything catastrophic happens, I don't think that price is going to come down. You will see my reasoning as we go on. I will explain my reasoning for that. In terms of regulation, we found out that Spain was pushing a bill to ensure that all its citizens are required to disclose their crypto assets. Of course, because government wants to tax crypto assets, so naturally, the next line of action would be like that. Everybody come and do asset declaration. So essentially, Spain is saying, come and declare your assets, and fill an asset declaration form. Well, I think it was in May that I told you that the United States was asking, probably in May. Yeah, it was in May that the US was already including the IRS form, the internal tax guys form for the US. They already included it in their form to ask if you traded or involved in any cryptocurrency transaction. Of course, that question was the leading question, because if you said yes to that, then there are other questions following on that will ensure that you get caught in a web of taxation. So in terms of regulation, that's expected. I will expect that by the end of 2021 stroke 2022, we should expect UK to come up with something like that. So that's for Spain. I didn't include the one for China. China says they're going to ban people from selling crypto, probably because they know that they can't tax it immediately, and many of their wealthy are already offshoring their assets into Bitcoin. And if you remember, it was that same month of May that I said that China was accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum as balance sheet item and as inheritance, essentially, in the country. So they were already treating by Bitcoin and Ethereum as gold or as any other inheritable assets in China. So now they're coming out to say, you can't just be selling Bitcoin anyhow. So that's explainable, because what has happened between that May and now was that people just started buying Bitcoin like crazy. Many of these guys were transmitting their wealth into Bitcoin, and they were completely liquidating, the other assets and pushing it into cryptocurrencies. So because of that, I think the government's worried that people might gain financial strength beyond beyond their control or behind their knowledge. Nevertheless, I think on the whole, it's good for the cryptocurrency itself. In terms of sentiment is very strong, even though it's tilting towards greed now. But we've had back-to-back bullish weeks and a number of bullish days as well now. And while the hash rate in terms of mining is still at all-time high for Bitcoin. So all is looking very good for Bitcoin. A number of altcoins actually have started recovering as well. So you see Ethereum picking up. We'll see Chainlink trying to pick up itself from the dust. Same thing with Polkadot and a number of other altcoins. But all in all, I think the most money has moved to Bitcoin in the last 1 or 2 weeks, and you'll see that in the subsequent news. I think the biggest news I have this week is that of PayPal. So for context, if I believe everybody knows PayPal, but if you don't know PayPal, PayPal is one of the largest payment merchants in the world. They have about 328 million customers, and they have about 26 million merchants. Now, if you assume that a merchant has both a merchant account and a customer account, then yes, we'll just say 328 million is their customer size. Well, give or take 330 to 340 million customers all over the world. And what happened was they had made an announcement in July that they were going to get involved in cryptocurrencies. But on Tuesday, they came out and said, now we are going to allow payments and transactions in cryptocurrencies on the PayPal platform. And we're going to allow people to buy, we're going to allow people to sell. What it means, I can't even really fully unroll what it means, because what they're saying is, if you're a merchant, you can now collect payments in crypto. The same way you can send funds to your friends on PayPal, you can choose to send funds in crypto and they'll get the settlement in cash. That's one of the implications. So if I wanted to send money through PayPal, I can send crypto to the person and the person will get cash, and vice versa. If I wanted to collect payment, I can collect payments in crypto and receive settlements in cash. That is huge because it literally brings over 300 million straight into the cryptocurrency market. If we took the market capitalization of PayPal itself, that's enough. But if we said, let's take $10 per customer, that's 320 billion automatically. So, or 3.2 billion. So that's in itself is huge. But considering the fact that, everybody will spend more than $10 anyway. Most people will spend more than $10 with PayPal. It means that we're about to witness a very large inflow of activity that was not even planned for as part of this bull run. Secondly, they came back 2 days later to say that they're in the market to buy up crypto firms. So we have crypto firms like BitGo and a number of other privately owned crypto firms up for sale. So they're looking at buying some private Bitcoin funds and Bitcoin holding companies as part of their plan to get involved in the cryptocurrency market. Like I said, the ramifications are very, very huge. Apart from, ramping on a huge number of customers at the same time, they have also created a pathway for other corporate financial institutions to legally participate. So I'll put it this way. Before now, many banks wanted to play in crypto space, but they can't play in crypto space because they're under regulation. But through PayPal now, they can play in the crypto space very easily because PayPal is paying there and nobody's holding them to it. And as a testament to that, on the day they came out with that announcement on Tuesday, the stock of PayPal went 10% up on that day alone, to say that investors were in full agreement with them that, yeah, you guys are on point with this decision. So this is massive. This is very massive. And I remember after I saw that news, I posted on the WhatsApp group that we might not see Bitcoin at the price we see today, because obviously this is a whole new level of pump to the demand on Bitcoins. So fantastic news. I think this will have been responsible for the official change in gears of the 2020-2021 bull run. So I was thinking that, okay, because the market crashed in September and still recovering, that maybe we'll wait till after the US election before we see some actions. But it's obvious that, I mean, the action starts now. So with this, financial institutions and banks will be scrambling on how they're going to position for, a piece of the pie. So good news for Bitcoin. The other one was what I said is wallet resurrection. So there was this news about Bitcoin addresses that have been dormant since 2017 bull run. All the addresses are suddenly now active. So they're saying that the number of addresses that have been active, that's been inactive since 2017, all of them are suddenly active now. And the only time this level of activity was witnessed was when Bitcoin was at $20,000. So expect a lot of activities, expect a lot of delay in transactions. Like on Tuesday, I tried to cash out, I can't remember how much in Bitcoins now. I cashed out. No, I not cashed out. I was trying to send from, I think it was KuCoin to Coinbase, one of the exchanges, between exchanges to cash out some Bitcoins. And it just hung. It hung for hours. Normally it would take like 30 minutes on a good day, but it just, it just froze because obviously there was too much network traffic that day for anything to go through fast. So it tells us that a lot of action is on the way. So as I said, if you didn't buy, when I said we should was a good time to buy at the beginning of September, it's not too late, but you're buying at the higher price now. You're buying at a more expensive price. There have been so many projections on where the price could go. My personal projections, at least 50K. I think it will go a lot more than that, but I think it will go at least 50K in the next 1 year at the minimum. But we'll keep our fingers crossed. But again, if you bought at that time, it might be a good time to take some profit and smile. So that's about the wallets. I brought this up because I said I told somebody I was going to share this with them. So this chart basically shows publicly traded Bitcoin organizations, organizations that are publicly traded. Organizations that are publicly traded that hold Bitcoins. So of course, at the top you see a lot of US organizations like MicroStrategy and Galaxy Digital, who we already know. You see the value of the Bitcoins they hold. Altogether, I think this is about 600 and what am I saying? It's almost 700 million between these two guys. Then this is Square. Square is owned by Jack Dorsey, who owns Twitter. They have 60 million, 4,700. You have all these guys, small guys. You don't know this. The Riot blockchain was part of the ones I said the last time. They both have 1,000. What's mine? These are US publicly traded companies. So you can see NASDAQ, MSTR. These are publicly traded companies on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. So they have all of these guys sitting on various amounts of Bitcoins. Then you have this privately owned one, Block One, Tezos, and Stoneridge, sitting on 140,000, 24,000, and 10,000. Then you have Grayscale, the wicked guys, sitting on almost 500,000 Bitcoins. These guys are positioning for exchange traded funds of Bitcoin. So they call themselves Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. They hold almost 2% of total circulating supply of Bitcoin. And they're still accumulating more. So you can see that, we have about over 10 billion sitting with these guys alone. I mean, and these are publicly disclosed Bitcoin treasuries. Let me use that word. These are the ones that have come to say, yes, we're holding Bitcoins and it's part of our balance sheet. Now imagine if this is what is publicly known. I would say times 10 is what is publicly not known. So these guys have been holding since different times. Many of them started in 2020, as you can see. They reported it in 2020. Some of them started before then. So this one's Block One, Tezos Tesla started before now. Of course, maybe they reported in 2020, but they started before now. Same with Stone Ridge. Stone Ridge started before now as well. So these are the guys that are holding significant buckets. I mean, 500,000, 450,000 Bitcoin. That's insane. So this is Bitcoin public treasury. Now, this is because US companies are required to disclose their assets one way or the other. So these guys are, obliged to. If you, for every US company that you see that has this kind of assets, I can say there are 10 to 20 Chinese companies and individuals that have the same thing. Not to talk of the Russians or the Turkish or the Romanians or the Armenians, people who are trying to break free from the hold of the US dollar. So it's significant. Like somebody said, if you have as small as 0.1 Bitcoin, that it might be one of the richest people in the world in 10 to 20 years time. It sounded small at that time, because at that time 0.1 Bitcoin was like 800 pounds, but it's significant because if Bitcoin then becomes 100K or more, then all of a sudden 0.1 Bitcoin is no longer small. It's now 10K. So that's just food for thought. In terms of adoption, this is how far we've gone in terms of corporate adoption for cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin in 2020. So this tells you where the price is going. So when I say that we might not see the price of Bitcoin again below 10,000 in a while, there's a reason for that. So next, we'll talk about PTD. In case you don't know, PTD is Paul Tudor Jones. Paul Tudor Jones is like the Warren Buffett of hedge funds. Made huge money betting against the market in the 1980s. He's worth about $5-something billion personal worth. And I think his assets under management is about 500 billion, something like that. Of course, he shows up on Wikipedia as a philanthropist. Of course, when you make too much money, the only other designation you can have is a philanthropist. So that's what it is on Wikipedia. But of course, he's a stinkingly rich American. And I remember back in April when he said that his company was going to be setting aside 5% of their treasury to buying Bitcoin. So everybody made a lot of noise about that. Paul Tudor Jones is a traditionalist, is one of the golds, people believe in gold and all this traditional assets. But the guy said, you know what, we think we're going to be putting our some of our assets into Bitcoin. And then he said that he thinks that Bitcoin was a good hedge against monetary inflation. So in the past week, he said he thinks the massive bull run is just getting started, because he sees the current price of Bitcoin like when Google and Apple just started out, and that even though it might not look like much now, he thinks that in the years to come to be quite significant. And to add context to that, Apple and Google in 1990s, people barely knew them, because Apple was doing Mac OS, and they had this very chunky laptop that only was selling in the US for the most part. There was no significant outputs. Maybe Canada, but they weren't making waves. But people knew them. Google was not known. People just knew Google was the second site after Yahoo back then. And if you bought their shares then, you definitely be a millionaire at least by now. That's guaranteed. So what he's saying is, you know what, we think this is a good bet against inflation. We can store the value of our assets in this Bitcoin against the depreciating value of the US dollar, and through that we're able to gain more on our wealth over time. And he says he believes the massive bull run is just getting started. We're just at the precipice of jumping into the bull run. I think we've started now. Of course, it will look like, have we started? Have we not started? Have we started? Have we not started? But personally, I think we've started now. So the big man of hedge fund is saying, you know what, we're going crypto and we're going to keep our assets. And we're going to stabilize our assets essentially using cryptocurrencies. So that's PTD. On our crypto science today, you will see a number of things as usual. we've seen that we've gained 28 billion in market cap for cryptocurrencies generally, from 362 or thereabout, or yeah, I think 362 or something last week. We've gained 28 billion over the last 1 week. There's not been any to explain that. Yes, Bitcoin is taking all the funds. There's not been any significant change in the market capitalization of altcoins in the last 1 week. Meanwhile, there's been $28 billion added to the market just in the last 1 week. So yeah, it also that also meant that Bitcoin dominance increased from the 56 or 58.4 it was last week to 61% now, which also explains why Bitcoin is really very bullish. And it appears that the altcoins are just bleeding out, but it's still what it is. This was close to where we were at the beginning of the year. In fairness, at the beginning of the year, we were 390 billion at some point before the COVID crash. So yeah, we're getting closer. You expect the price to shoot. I expect the price to shoot beyond 13,000 after this current correction. So the price, as you see on the next slide, the price has taken some correction today, but I expect that it will resume the upward journey in the coming days and weeks, at least up until the US election. So market capitalization increased over the last 1 week by almost 10%. Then if you look at the weekly chart, so this was last week's weekly chart where I was saying that we had this triangle, this smaller triangle that we needed to break out of. And now if we break out of this smaller triangle, then for most people, the bullish run was confirmed. So I brought this up to make reference to last week to compare to this week. So this is last week and this is this week. So that triangle that we're looking at eventually filled up as a bullish triangle for last week. And this is this week's triangle that has broken out. Not only broken out, it's broken out far. So we're expecting it to just break out and stay somewhere here, and then we'll have another week resting on this this line. But it's broken out of this resistance completely, and it's tried 13,000 already. And initially people were saying, it needs to first test 12,000 to prove itself. Now it's not even testing 12,000. 12,000 is blown out completely. It's testing 13,000. I'll show you the daily chart as well to explain what I'm saying. So now we've confirmed. So this line is coming from the all-time high of 2017. This trend line that shows that we were in a downtrend since that time, and it only just got broken earlier in September, and now earlier in October, and now we have seen the upward trend trying to break 12K, and everybody was saying, oh, we couldn't break 12K. We've tried to break 12K about 3 times since then. Now it's come back, smashed through 12K and aiming for 13K. So on the technical analysis, we can see that this is the daily chart. We can see that we've taken 13K. Some indicators are already showing some corrections. So we've tried 13K twice. I think it tried it again today before coming down. So we're taking a correction down now, currently at 12,007, dangling between 12,007 and 12,008. If it breaks down, if the market breaks down, then you expect it to take support at 12,000, which is where it broke up from. But frankly speaking, honestly, going by what I know now, I don't think it's going to come as low as that, but fingers crossed. But I think PayPal was the trigger most corporates and institutional buyers were waiting for. And PayPal has pulled the trigger now, and everybody's scampering around trying to enter. So as I said earlier on, everybody wants a piece of the cake, but nobody wants to go first, because whoever goes first may have a target to their back. So now that everybody knows that PayPal is in play, everybody is beginning to strategize. Okay, now that PayPal is going to try to gobble up this Bitcoin market, how can we position? People are already scrambling their head to see how they can position. So that's only going to drive the markets into more frenzy. So yeah, I expect to see the supports around the opening of yesterday's price, which is about 12,005 or thereabouts, or 12,002. If it doesn't break down from there, then we can expect to see 14K or even 16K in the weeks to come. This is the correction I was talking about on the 4-hourly chart. So it's set back to like 12,007 or thereabouts. And as at the time I was doing these screenshots, the hourly was already showing a correction up, that it was going back up again. So all in all, I think the rally is real. We are at the edge of this up steep now, and by the time we get out of optimism, yes, I think the rally is real now. We're at the edge. We are edging out of optimism. We are going into belief in the next few weeks to few months. Of course, by that time, Bitcoin will be selling at 18K. Of course, Bitcoin gets to 18K, definitely 20K is out of contention. And the fact that we have account activity as active as it was when Bitcoin price was wallet activity as active as when it was when Bitcoin price was 20K shows you that we expect to see some action. Personally, I think there may be some slight correction, then there may be some rush to 20K, and then the price might probably come down to like 16 or 17K and wait for another stimulus. Of course, we know that US stimulus has not passed, so we still don't have that pump from a retail level. But from institutional level, I expect to see some massive movement, a massive buyer on Bitcoin in the next few months. I wanted to talk about. Okay, I'll talk about it a little. Let me finish this. So, in terms of market sentiment, I brought in these 4 gauges to explain what's been happening in terms of greed and fear. As I've said earlier on, greed and fear are usually very simplistic sentiment indicators that you can use to determine whether you want to get into or get out of the market. So, as I said then, this was 3 weeks ago, market was in fear. This was 2 weeks ago, market was still in fear, was 48. This was last week, market was on the edge of greed. This was like neutral at 52. Now, market is 61. So you can see we're moving into greed now. I expect that this greed will either stay here for a while or go further down, because the people who have been doubting in their mind before will suddenly hear that PayPal is getting into the play, and they were like, oh, let me quickly buy some of these things before it goes to 20K. And the people who had maybe they had like like people like me who had I had Bitcoin wallet. I bought at 12K back then. I lost the wallet address, of course, like most people. But if you're somebody like me that bought at that time when it was 12K before it went further down, you'll be scrambling to look for your Bitcoin address now to see that maybe I should come and sell this thing now that I'm now in profits. So yeah, there should be a lot of more scrambling for people who bought at the tail end. So people will try to sell off, but know that if you don't need money, you shouldn't sell off. Personal advice, because as I always say, institutions are playing the long game. So if you want to build wealth, you should also aim to play for the long game. Play for 5 years, play for 10 years, because when you zoom out and you see how the market has performed over that long period of time, you suddenly realize that your little $500 or $200 over the course of 5 years might have gone to 200K or 100K on some crypto assets. So it's important to have a long-term perspective. If you're not, even if you're in dire need of money, I want to say if you're not in dire need of money, if you have alternatives to get funds, I'll appeal that you get funds outside the market, because right now the institutions are buying up crypto en masse, and they're not going to sell. In fact, let me look for news to corroborate what I was just saying. There is a guy, we've mentioned him in times past. He's the owner of what's it called? He's the owner of MicroStrategy. They even had a song about him. They had a song about him called Sailor is a Bull or something like that. Just give me a second. I'll get out the news. I didn't put it in mind, but I saw it and I was like, oh, this guy is doubling down. So the guy was saying that his company, yeah, and I think I mentioned it before. It was saying that his company built Bitcoin for 100 years. Yeah, Michael Saylor claims the company will hold Bitcoin for 100 years, describing it as the world's best collateral. So he's a CEO of MicroStrategy, and they bought, as I told you then in August, they bought 21,000 for Bitcoins, about 250 million. Then they went back for more. And then he said, this is not speculation or a hedge. It's a deliberate corporate strategy to adopt the Bitcoin standard. That is a massive statement from a publicly traded company. And his stock price are a testament to that decision. The day he bought the second batch of Bitcoin, his stock price gained another 9%. So don't sell yourself short. If you don't need money, store your wealth in crypto. You will be glad you did in years to come, because the corporates are getting in late, and the corporates are not going to sell. They're not going to sell short, and they're not going to sell anytime soon. Meaning the price is only going to go up. Even if it comes down 80%, the price is always going to go up. And if you understand the macro or the macroeconomics of supply and demand, you know that as long as supply is finite, price will always go up, because if demand is constant and supply is not increasing, it's a must that the price must go up. So, and that's why the Bitcoin standard, as it puts it, makes sure of it that there is no inflationary pressure on Bitcoin as an asset. And what we are having right now, as I've said before now, is a new asset class being born before our very eyes. It's a lifetime opportunity for generational wealth. Let me just say it like that. In terms of other market sentiments, we have this market sentiment that watches Bitcoin USD price. I'm sorry for the so many gauges, but I need to put all of them on the same page to try to explain what they're saying. So we have the 4-hour and daily gauge for sentiment. This was for the week before the last, when Bitcoin was intraday was buy, then there was a strong buy. Then last week, intraday was buy, and there was a strong buy as well, which is still should, and the daily was so the intraday was buy, daily was buy, and it's still maintained. But what has happened now is that this week, this is 1 hour bias, which explains the correction we saw on the price, dropping down to 12,007 from 13,000 earlier. But on the 4 hour, which is the higher time frame, we still see that the sentiment still remains buy. What does all this mean? It means that even though there seems to be a retraction or a correction in price, as you see, the overall sentiment is still in place, which means the bull run is established. That's my analysis. That's the conclusion of my analysis. The bull run is established. Anything you see now as a down or as a bear market or a red candle, as I say, is just a correction. So be careful not to sell on a correction. Instead, if you want to sell on a spike. So anybody that was hoping to sell should have sold at 13,000. If you didn't sell at 13,000, then yeah, if you want to sell, why not sell at 14,000? Because the correction we're going to have now is probably going to be at 12,000, and then the market will attempt to move up further from there. So in terms of what we had on the crypto pulse, that's what it is on crypto pulse for this week. I have a number of things I wanted to discuss on the crypto.com exchange because people asked questions about it last week. Unfortunately, I didn't get enough time to take the screenshot, and I tried so hard to see if I could share my phone screen, but I think I didn't have the app to share my phone screen on the live Zoom meeting. But if you have the crypto.com app, I will just explain from my head as much as possible, and I've taken the screenshot so that I can remember, as I say, remember a bit. On your home page, usually you have, I think, 5 buttons at the bottom. Now, one of the buttons takes you back to the home page, which is the first one I have my cursor on. On that home page, you will see trade or transfer. Trade or transfer means you might want to sell or buy cryptocurrencies. So when you click on trade, it automatically asks you whether you want to sell or whether you want to buy. And when you click on buy, then it gives you a list of cryptocurrencies that you can buy on the app. So the app is a centralized exchange itself that functions like a digital bank. And that's why you have all these functionalities there. You have accounts. Under accounts, when you click accounts, you see crypto wallets, you see crypto earn, you see crypto credits, you see card accounts, then you see fiat wallets. Now, each of those wallets have their own functionalities. Think of them as folders within your app. The crypto wallet is where all your cryptos are stored. And it shows you where, which of the cryptos you have and what values they're carrying. The crypto earn is for the fixed deposits, interest earning functionalities within the app. I know that's changed a bit now. I'll come to talk about that a bit later in this discussion. The crypto credit is if you wanted to borrow cash against your crypto assets. So they do function as a bank. The only thing is that the loan to value ratio, I think, is about 50%. So if you needed $200K, you will need to have crypto assets worth $400K to be able to borrow from the app. But like I said last week, for guys in our clients here on the other side of Nigeria, this might be the best option to warehouse or to get out large sums of money. Don't quote me, but you can't tax a loan. So if you took a loan against your assets, the taxman can't hold you for it. That's a very important origin that I just gave you. So because of that, I think it's a very fantastic functionality. If you have millions, if you have millions in the next 1 or 2 years that you want to bring out, that's one way to bring them out without incurring heavy tax burdens, because then it means that you're not cashing out on capital gains, you're just taking a loan. So it's like, I have a house, my house has appreciated from 200K to $1 million, then I go to the bank and take a loan of 500K. Taxman cannot tax my 500K because it's a loan. However, I have my house as the assets to pay back the loan. Now, I will be taking that cash to buy another house. But what I've done is I've shielded and I've protected, I've shielded myself from tax exposure because of capital appreciation by taking a loan against the assets instead of capitalizing the asset. Because what the book says, so what the rule book says is you get taxed when you capitalize an asset. So if the asset is not capitalized in the real sense, then you don't get taxed. Sorry, that was a diversion. I thought I needed to address that particular one. So you will see those functionality. You can check your phone as I'm talking to see what I'm saying in terms of crypto. So that's about crypto credit. For the crypto card, I know most of our guys in Nigeria don't have it. The people in even in Europe just started getting their cards again after that Wirecard scandal. So they just started shipping to Europe, I think, in the last 2 weeks. Guys in Canada are probably going to get theirs next month. Yeah, next month. I know that they're trying to change card providers around the world as well. So guys in Canada are probably going to get theirs next month. So under this crypto.com logo will give you all the wallets, all the folders that are available within the app, including everything that's already shown here. Then you can have a list of crypto items that you want to track that you can put as favorites. Then under that's where that's what this tracking is for. If you start them, then it brings them up as favorites here on your homepage. The other thing is the connection of your app to your exchange. So many people get to crypto.com and get exposed to the app, but don't know that there's an exchange. There is indeed an exchange platform. The exchange platform is one of their business model to expose institutions to the market, but they also give retail users like us the opportunity to connect to exchange account. And as a matter of fact, when the exchange just got opened, there was a 20% APY yield on fixed deposits with the exchange. It was knocked down to 6, but I think it's back up to 10% now. So it's a good idea to open an exchange account and link it to your app accounts. And if you have excess CRO, you can stake it on the exchange account. And currently, I think you can still earn up to 10%. But if you had not done it before this month, you will probably only be able to earn 6 or 10%. But before that, it was like 20%, which is like for the 6 months holding period, you get a 10% gain. Then I wanted to talk about the price drop on CRO. So I've had a number of people asking me about, what's going on. So I said, initially I thought it was just a minor drop because truly, really and truly, CRO has never ever in the life cycle of the token ever dropped like this before. But when I went to check the drops and where the price point is at now, I see that the price is at the point it was just between May and June, meaning that before the exchange stimulus, before the US stimulus effect on the markets, that's where the price is at now. So I think we're at the bottom. For anybody that is afraid of their growth, I think we're at the bottom right now. And if you followed my instruction on CryptoPulse weekly WhatsApp chat that I told you to sell to other crypto assets as a hedge, you can buy back now, or you can wait till the end of the week or early next week to buy back. But I think that we are at the bottom right now. I can show you, hold on a second. Where do I have crypto.com? Sorry. Yeah, let me show you what I'm talking about so that you understand the rationale for my assessments. So if we check out CRO, it's gained 3% already. When I was checking it in the morning, it was just on the verge of correcting. It was like 0.1 or 0.01% gain against Bitcoin. So it's dropped against Bitcoin and has dropped against fiat currencies. But I saw that the price level it was trading at was just at the bottom price it was, about the support and resistance between May and June. So my hypothesis on my assessment is that some institutional money did come in. Some institutional traders did bring bulk money into the market. I think my internet is angry. They brought bulk money into the market and bought a lot of CRO. And some other, maybe there were also other guys that bought earlier on. And then they decided to sell off at the beginning of the week. As I said, they sold off on Sunday morning. Not Sunday. Sunday morning, yeah, 6 a.m. I don't know how that's probably the only illiquid or the most illiquid time to sell, because there is practically nobody on the market. Everybody was asleep at that time. So the market just fell through. And of course, usually people who are trading actively on spots and have bots and algorithms that are trading for them will have set stop loss against some price level. So when you have that kind of sharp drop and there are no active buyers on the market and it's just bots and algorithms that play, all the stops will just be kicking in one after the other. So the price will just be dropping, like a pin. Just be dropping all the way. So that's what happened to CRO. The CEO of the company had the live event on sometimes during the week. And people ask him about the price. He said, that you don't usually talk about the price, that the market does what it does. But I understand what's going on. That some big guys that brought in some big money and they decided to take profits. But it's a good time to buy. If you like me that bought a huge chunk at the top of the market, I'm probably down by like 40% right now. But I know that I wasn't even going to get the money out in the first week because it was still stake on 6 months. So it's not going to be out in January. But the ones I had that were free, I just took it to Ethereum and I took it to Wi-Fi, which is another thing I want to mention. If you're going to ask me today about what do I think you should buy, Dr. Demi, I think you should buy Wi-Fi. Why do I say you should buy Wi-Fi? Wi-Fi got an investment into their business. I can't remember how many millions. A lot of millions, yeah, earlier in the week. And then I was just sitting on my CRO and thinking, what am I going to do with this CRO? Should I just sell to USDT? By that time, it hasn't even dropped further. So I was like, oh, it's already too late to sell to USDT. So immediately I saw that news. I went to sell to Wi-Fi. And later I now checked Wi-Fi and I found out that Wi-Fi actually was one of the triggers of this DeFi craze that sent the market into a tailspin. But beyond that, they did have a good product. And what happened actually was the owner said, I created this thing, just like Bitcoin. He said he created it, that he's not going to put any value to it. But then the guy created it and created only 30,000 units. So you can imagine any small amount of money that comes into Wi-Fi spikes the price. As at the time I started collecting this, Wi-Fi was already trading higher than Bitcoin in price per one. So if you want, if you're looking for where to put your crow, Wi-Fi is a good buy. I think it's on the exchange, and I think it's on the platform, on the app platform. It's a good buy. And like many other currency, it will get a lot of influx when the market starts taking in additional funds. So because it's just 30,000 units, the price increase will be astronomical. At the very minimum, if you buy right now, expect to make 100% return in the next 1 to 2 months, at the 1 to 2 months max. Don't hold a gun to my head, but I will explain. I think my window has opened properly now, so I can explain what I'm saying. In the next 1 to 2 months, I expect that Wi-Fi will take that kind of plunge. So this is Wi-Fi's charts. Just to explain what this is. So this is Wi-Fi's, okay, sorry, this is even Wi-Fi CRO. It's not even the one I wanted to choose. I wanted to choose Wi-Fi USDT. But I mean, if you're like me, I think I exchanged my Wi-Fi around here. Yes, I exchanged my Wi-Fi around here. So already it's down 143. I was going to put a cap on it. Then I said, let me wait. Then the next day I saw that it has broken 143. So I said, okay, I'm just going to let it run. So if you wait for it to go back to where it came from this bottom, which is 100, that's 100K to 160. But let me zoom out and get to Wi-Fi USDT so that you get what I'm saying properly. So Wi-Fi USDT on the other hand, you see where it is. At the beginning of the month of October, Wi-Fi got high as 26,000. So 26,000 meaning that was the price it was when the market started dropping. So if it gets 26,000 from where it was, okay, this was where it was at the beginning of today. I was having a discussion about this with someone today that it was at 13,000 this morning. That if you bought Wi-Fi this morning, by the time it gets back up here, which is going to anyway, because the market is going back up now, you make 100%. So if you ask me, want to make money before Christmas, buy Wi-Fi. I think I'll stop for now and take questions. If you're on Zoom, you can unmute yourself or ask to unmute. If you're on Telegram, you can send me your questions. Hi, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah. Hello, doctor.
Hi. How are you?
Yeah, good evening. A shout out here from Nigeria. This is Captain DJ. Shout out from Nigeria here.
Thank you very much, Captain.
All right. I want to thank you once again for insight into this space. I mean, you are one of the leaders that has always been motivating me, which I've been following. Thanks for the wonderful presentation. I was opportune to join it. I missed it like 2 weeks ago because of my itinerary. Yeah. So my question is this: we actually stake that crow. So mine, I have 9 days remaining for the 6 months which I stake the crow.
Okay.
So I actually appreciate when you start explaining how we can take advantage of borrowing some asset against it. So that means if mine staking now that is remaining 9 days to go, when I've completed that cycle, that means your advice for me will be maybe I shouldn't restake it again. I can see another strategy I can, because that asset is there. I'm not ready to sell it for now. I'm not ready to sell it for now. So I can actually take advantage of that. I mean, maybe get some BTC or whatever and stake it with and use that as a collateral, right?
Yeah. So for your staking that is coming to an end, my advice is buy Wi-Fi or buy Chainlink. I mean, Chainlink is one of those undervalued assets. Even so many people shout and say, it's all a scam and everything. But if you think about what they are doing in terms of the value that Chainlink is bringing to the blockchain, I think it's one of those undervalued assets. Wi-Fi is a DeFi, is one of these early DeFi projects that, even though people thought they were not serious, but they were serious. It was just that on the back of them, people started creating clones of their solution to rip off other people. So if your staking is coming to an end, I would say that use that CRO to buy Wi-Fi. When Wi-Fi appreciates that, and just track the price of Wi-Fi in USD. When it gets to like 26,000, you can sell it back, because if it gets to that point, it means you're like 90% gained on fiat. So if it gets to that point, then it means that you are at least gained more than, if you sell back to CRO, of course, you've gained almost 90%. If you sell back to fiat, you've gained about 98%. If you sell back to BTC, you probably will have made 50% at that point in time. So instead of staking it back, because if you stake it now, you're probably going to get on the app, I think it's probably 6%. I don't remember. They changed it again in the last 1 week. So I think the rate is not as enticing as it was. It doesn't mean that the use case of CRO and the coin itself is not going to pump later, but I would say sell it for Wi-Fi or link chain or Chainlink, and the day that they announce what's it called, mainnet, sell it back to CRO, because then it means CRO is going to go crazy. So
okay. So when you say, sorry, sir. So when you say sell it off, so that means I need to swap it on the app here. Just swap it.
Yeah, you can swap it on the app.
Okay.
Do you have the exchange account?
Yeah, I do. I have both. Okay. I actually did this they just introduced their DeFi, which I just take about some CRO into it. I think it will be ending this month we are entering, November. That they are DeFi, so I just put a few of the CRO there too on that DeFi.
Yeah, that CRO there, that DeFi stuff, I think it's only people that have like how much now? If you have like millions of CRO, you actually make a decent amount of money. The only thing is that your CRO will now be stuck for like 4 years. I mean, the one that really makes the most money, your CRO will be there for 4 years.
But I think the one I did was for, I think, 1 month. One month, which they said they are going to give you a Uniswap as a reward.
Oh, that was the supercharger.
Yeah, supercharger. Yeah, that's correct. Supercharger.
Supercharger is just like flexible staking. I've watched a number of analysis on the return on investments, and at the end of the day, my assessment is like, okay, the percentage return looks like it's like the returns like the returns on flexible staking on the app. So my advice is, if you have CRO sitting down, don't buy Bitcoin. And the reason I'm saying don't buy Bitcoin is, that Bitcoin is the gateway and the leader.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin is pumping right now. So you're already late to the party if you're trying to buy Bitcoin now. Instead, go and buy the junior brothers that are just starting to pick up. So Polkadot, Chainlink, Wi-Fi, and probably Ethereum. Ethereum too has started to gain. But you can expect that Wi-Fi is going to gain very, very fast, because there are only 30,000 units of it. So the price change is going to be very rapid. In the next 2 weeks, you can get that Wi-Fi is already selling.
All right. Yeah, thanks for your advice, because I actually had it in mind that after this 9 day of expiration of the staking, that what I'm going to do, I'm going to push it to the supercharger again, then maybe possible see how I can strategize again. But with this advice, I think I'll weigh all the options and see the better way to go about it. Thank you very much. Let me give some space to other people to make their own contribution or question. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
No problem, sir.
Hello.
Hello, Binga.
Hi. Right. My question might be silly, but you're going to have to pardon me.
No. My question is silly. Go ahead.
I've always had blockchain accounts since 2004, 2005. And literally when you ask this question now, but of course I've got to say, first of all, thanks for all the dedication and for this wonderful presentation as well. So thank you. So now, as I was saying, I've just logged into my blockchain account and I could still find my, of course, £120 worth of Bitcoin. It's not a great deal. But now I thought, how could I take advantage of the Wi-Fi? So do I have, because that's not in blockchain.
So yeah, so let me explain.
I know that's why I said it's going to be silly. You've done this so many times.
It's not silly. It's not silly. And some people might be in this situation. So my first, venture into crypto actually was back then in 2016, 2014 or thereabouts. And I got a blockchain account. Quite all right. I had a blockchain account. I had a Luno account. Then I registered for the blockchain account, did all the stuff they wanted me to do. Then they gave me the key. I didn't know what the key was for. I studied somewhere. Then I bought Bitcoin worth £500. Bitcoin was selling at 12,200 or thereabouts, $12,200 thereabouts. And so I bought it, but I never found it. However, the blockchain account is like a decentralized wallet. So the blockchain account is just creating a platform for people to own wallets on the Bitcoin's blockchain. For you to buy Wi-Fi, you need to go to a properly centralized an exchange like Crypto.com or Coinbase. I like Crypto.com because as at now, Crypto.com is still cheaper than Coinbase, even though Crypto.com has changed a lot of things. They're still cheaper in a number of ways. One of the ways to do that is you need to move your Crypto.com from your £100 crypto Bitcoin from the wallet on blockchain to the wallet on the Crypto.com app. Usually,
so I could transfer it.
Sorry?
So I could transfer my crypto from blockchain.
Yeah, you need to transfer it from blockchain because blockchain, I think, mainly sells Bitcoin and Ethereum and Rabbit Litecoin. So you need to move that.
It doesn't really sell all these other coins.
Yeah, so you need to move it to.
So if I go to Crypto.com.
Yes, if you go to Crypto.com
so
and
I could transfer
an account.
Crypto.com and get to everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So usually
Crypto.com. Yeah, go on.
Sorry?
No, I was just gonna say the Crypto.com. Do I need a link from anyone, or could I just log in straight away?
Yeah, I can give you a link to download the app, and then I'll put the link in the chat box for you to download. For you to download the app, and then you can, once you download the app and use the link, it will ask you to sign up. You register, equate to the app, but the app is like it serves to function. It's like a centralized exchange, but it's also like a digital bank. So you have some banking services, then you have some crypto services. But because it has the opportunity to buy a lot more coins than many of the older traditional platforms, you can now go to your Bitcoin wallet on your Crypto.com account, take the address there, and use it as the recipient address from your blockchain, and then send it. Mr. Ayobami, you wanted to say something?
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dele.
All right. .com.
So don't forget to put the link as well for us, please.
Yeah. I will send it. I have it somewhere.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Well done. You've done a very good job. Thank you very much. Well, for some persons that started panicking about Crow value dropping, because I got a couple of calls between 3 days, between day before yesterday and today. I've gotten a couple of calls, and people were just being unnecessarily, they were just panicking. I told them, well, for me, Crow have not actually started, and then everybody should just have it at the back of our minds that volatility is part of this game, and of course, Crow is not invisible to volatility, even though we have not seen it drop this much before. And right now, I mean, it's actually going back. I think we have bottomed out, and it's already on its way back. If you check Bitrate, in terms of volume, is still the leader. Out of all the coins, it's still having the highest number of BTCs that is holding, and it's gone back from 9 cents to 10 cents plus right now, and it's already on a upward trend. So what I tell people is, when you see this kind of thing, just take advantage, and if you have some money, buy more and move on. Again, don't let us forget also that some people will definitely cause field in the market. People that have actually missed it when it was low and they want to buy and stuff. So many things will be flying around, and which can cause people to panic and dump the coins. And when the time comes for them to buy, they will end up buying it higher. So of course, this is part of the game, and it's a good thing that we know, and we keep running our thing. Wi-Fi, yes, Wi-Fi is a very good asset to hold as well. Wi-Fi, Ethereum at this time. Then don't let us lose focus about our holding portfolio. We keep holding on to them and wait for the major spike to happen. Major spike to happen, and I want to strongly believe that the result is going to be really a little bit right now. It's a little bit shaky.
Well, you're breaking up. Oh, okay.
The network issue.
Yeah.
Good evening, Dr. Davis.
Good evening, Dr. Ladri. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much. I think we talked a lot this week. I just want to ask, all these our free airdrops, when are they going to start appearing in our
Safety now.
Don't you know that we are doing NSAS in Nigeria, so we need alternative source of income now. all warehouses in Nigeria, all warehouses in Southwest now.
Palliative.
For palliative, people are breaking in. Osun State just sent me that they shouldn't break their own, or that they are planning to start distributing soon. People just this night, and they are seeing Indomie flying up and down. So unfortunately, I'm in Abuja. I couldn't benefit from that one. So let me just face this airdrop very well. So, thank you very much for the presentation. I think it's making sense now, because it got to a time I was thinking probably all our predictions when are they going to come to pass? But all of a sudden, when I saw the thing jumping nearly $2,000 within a couple of days, I think it's making sense. So now, my question, all the airdrop that I've been doing, I'm just thinking that I've been using my Ether wallet, and because I haven't seen anyone dropping in that wallet, I was thinking probably I made a mistake, or maybe I didn't do it well, and all those things. So
no, so as I said, the what's it called? The airdrops are 50-50.
Okay.
But at the same time, you don't want to miss out, just in case.
Yes.
And that's why I said, for people, one, have a separate email you're using for.
Yes, of course.
Or airdrop. If they ever ask your email, your social media handle, make sure that your passwords are secure. And if you can activate 2FA on your social media handle. Okay. Then for your Ethereum ERC20, make sure that only airdrops go into that particular wallet. So if you have my Ethereum wallet, for instance, you can create two different accounts or multiple accounts.
I have two accounts. I'm using one.
I have like 3 or 4 Trust wallet, for instance. So I have IAM token. I have all of, so most of my airdrops go to IAM token. I don't have anything other thing on IAM token. So if anything is going to happen there, the worst that can happen is they're just using the airdrop to collect data so that they can attack addresses. But if they attack that address, there's nothing there, and I'm not going to move anything there. The only thing that's going to come out of there is free airdrop token.
Yeah, exactly. So if they want to attack, let them attack.
Yeah, but many of them usually will give a future date. So most of the ones that I've said down are said, end of October or early November. But I've seen that some of them are scam, like the DeFi Gold, for instance. So that those ones are spam. So I've cleared them off my chat. I've reported them as spam on Telegram. So for those ones, you will know eventually. After a few months or a few weeks, you will know. Some of them are trying to launch, but they need some money. Then they want to gain some money before they launch and distribute their token. Others are just, they're just fraudsters. But others are people with genuine projects that actually want to launch. They need the user base and they want to scale fast. So for those ones, having a 17,000 Telegram user base is a very good start for them, because it means that they're able to launch and they already have a community, which is the whole essence of having the airdrops in the first place. So don't worry, just make sure that that Ethereum wallet that you're using for airdrop, nothing else is going inside.
Okay. Now my second question, if I want to use like platform like Uniswap, can I use the MyEther wallet to link?
It usually connects with Coinbase wallet and MetaMask, so you can open a MetaMask wallet. MetaMask wallet can be opened either on your phone or on a web browser.
I tried it on the web browser. I couldn't understand what. So I have a Coinbase, so maybe I will try Coinbase.
Yeah, you can. If you have Coinbase wallets,
yes,
Coinbase wallet works well with Uniswap. I use one of my Coinbase wallets for Uniswap, and it works well.
Unfortunately, probably because I opened the account in Nigeria and it's in Naira, I couldn't even understand.
Open MetaMask then. No, that one that you open is not Coinbase wallet, it's Coinbase app. Just like Crypto.com app is different from Crypto.com DeFi wallet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. I've sent I've sent the link on the chat. So you can download the link on your phone or copy the referral code, which is 8R7 CWMCT6G. They also give you
the code. The code is not there.
Sorry?
Oh, I found the code, yeah. So if I just use the link, it should be okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any?
So, doctor, sorry, once again, please.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, I was trying to find out the best options to go about if my stuff on the staking expired in the next 9 days. So, will it be advisable? I mean, since I still want to hold the CRO, probably to use that CRO as a collateral, then they get something and maybe go into the DeFi, or I should just sell off the CRO, then or swap it to the Wi-Fi.
Well, I mean, my own objective for holding crypto is for profit making. Of course, I have
Of course, that's where I am.
So
yeah.
So naturally, I've swapped for Wi-Fi already, and I'm just waiting for Wi-Fi to pump back to its beginning of October price. Once it goes back, then I'll exit Wi-Fi. If CRO is doing a bit better than what it is now, I'll exit to CRO. Otherwise, I'll exit to another. Another coin. But I just thought about that instead of keeping. So what I've been doing before was just keeping most of my coins in CRO and staking them at different levels.
Yeah.
I've not been trading actively. Let me say that. So I just about that instead of just keeping this stuff. I mean, I could actually make a lot more trading on my own, just intercurrency arbitrage within the exchange. I'll probably be able to make anywhere between 10 to 50% within a month. So why should I Why should I just leave it there if I know that I can get such value? So I decided to just use that screw. It was about 10,000, 12,000 screw. I bought the Wi-Fi with that. I'll just use it to, play with intra-currency trading for a while and see how much gains I can accrue on the exchange. But if you're not trading just by Wi-Fi, then at the end of the month, or okay, so yeah, your stuff will expire at the end of the month actually. If it's 9 days from now, that means it's November. Okay, remind you 9 days from now is Monday.
Like 30th, next upper one.
Ping me on WhatsApp.
Okay, all right.
Because we don't know what the market is saying at that time.
No problem, no problem. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
That one is the great wheels of wheels.
You made me laugh. Photo trick.